player coming in is Tony Dacos. The player left out is Terry Patalis. One player in this side to keep an eye on is Peter Catholis. He's scored 5 goals in his last 3 matches, including the 2 that beat Penrith last week. Melbourne, Croatia last week went down by 5 goals to 2, and coach Terry Hennessy has made one change for this match. The player out is Peter Lewis. He's out injured. The player coming in for his first appearance is Anton Lejovic. Well, one player in this side to keep an eye on is Jimmy Campbell. He's already scored 50 goals in NSL matches. So referee Gary Power gets this interconference clash underway with Sydney Olympic in the all-white in the first half, kicking from left to right. Melbourne, Croatia, the red shirts and the white shorts. Jimmy Campbell pushing that one through. Gary Phillips is there for Sydney Olympic. And the first touch of the afternoon for the Olympic keeper, Gary Meyer. So quite a test of strength, this clash between 2 sides from the different conferences. Of course, when the draw was made, both standing in 3rd position. Those positions have now changed, with Sydney Olympic up into 2nd place, while Melbourne, Croatia have slipped to 8th after that loss last week against Heidelberg by 5 goals to 2. So the throw for Olympic taken by Martin Rogers. Sandwich there, Jimmy Campbell and George Hanna, the culprits. So a free kick to Olympic. Quickly taken by Riskopoulos to Rogers. Now Tony Dacos back in the side after being injured in that clash against Sydney, Croatia. Patikas. Still Patikas. Trip from behind. So another free kick to Olympic, this time on the edge of the penalty area. Catholis, Riskopoulos and Patikas, the players over the ball. Catholis gets it through the wall, but not really the power to beat Peter Blasby. And now Melbourne, Croatia. All the way back to Peter Blasby. And now this is Keith Adams. This is George Hanna. Away there by Bobby Newmoff. Adams again for Melbourne, Croatia. Now Dave Brogan turning that one in. Mike Cody's there for Sydney Olympic. And away to safety for a throw-in by Martin Rogers. Of course, for both coaches, an awkward afternoon, not really knowing too much about their opponents. So George Hanna take the throw for Melbourne, Croatia. Nodded on there across the face of goal. And the shot. Steve Gojovic is wide. It was the long throw, though, that caused all the problems. Nodded on there by Dave Brogan. And it fell eventually for Steve Gojovic, and the shot's wide. This is Biskic. It's the little Tommy Cumming. So the throw on that far side. Tommy Cummings moves forward. This is Keith Adams. Gojovic there with the head on. So Gary Meyer, the longest serving player in the Sydney Olympic side, has the distinction of playing in every match in the first NSL season back in 1977. Adam across. Came off Jimmy Patikas, so throws to Melbourne, Croatia. Taken by Hanna. Pushing there on Dave Brogan. by Martin Rogers gives Melbourne, Croatia a free kick just inside their own half. Well, a good catch there by referee Gary Power. Wants the free kick retaken. This is Sean Pardon. And so Velivic there with the touch on. And now Jennings looking for Catholis. Tolovic there was the player in first, and now Jimmy Campbell. Biskic. Now Adams. Adams again. Looking for Gojevic, easily cut out there by Martin Rogers. Now Patikas. Soper. And away into touch there by Sean Pardon, and the clash after the ball had gone between Soper and Sean Pardon. Sean Pardon there gets that away. Soper comes in a bit late, then kicks. The result is a throw-in. Corchio was the player getting that one away. Rogers puts it forward. And Tolovic there was just the player who couldn't keep that one in. So a throw to Sydney Olympic. Skopoulos being pushed in the back. So Peter Skopoulos, skipper of Sydney Olympic. Looking for Catholis. Now Patikas. Now Rogers. He's onside. Martin Rogers. Melbourne, Croatia still taking time to get this one away. Riskopoulos. And now Phillips. Eventually George Hanna will clear. Bobby Newmoff there pushing that one forward. Riskopoulos. Now Keith Adams. And now Jimmy Campbell. Inside to Gojevic. And he's got Cumming available. This is Tommy Cumming. Still Cumming. Now Biskic. Right across Gojevic. And Melbourne, Croatia take the lead. Steve Gojevic, the scorer. The goal coming after 6 minutes. Joseph Biskic here. Gets the ball in. Over Gary Meyer. There's Steve Gojevic. And Melbourne, Croatia take the lead. But some good running initially by Tommy Cumming. This is Joseph Biskic. Gets that one across. Meyer can't get to it. Steve Gojevic can. There's the scoreline. Sydney Olympic 0. Melbourne, Croatia 1. Cody. Now this is Tommy Cumming. Still Cumming. Biskic. Behind the byline for a goal kick. Now Biskic. Antelovic, Corchio now the player coming forward. Now this is Dave Brogan. Come in. Inside to Gojevic. Nice play there by Gojevic. Nobody coming in though for Melbourne, Croatia. Now George Hanna. George Hanna. A shot out of the blue. And Melbourne, Croatia go further ahead. There seemed to be no danger whatsoever. Clearance. And there's George Hanna. He volleys that first time. It dips past Gary Meyer. And Melbourne, Croatia go ahead by... We've had 11 minutes. Soper. And George Hanna there clashing in back play, and a yellow card for Marshall Soper. And that was well spotted by referee Gary Power. Marshall Soper gets the yellow card. And here's the clash. The ball had gone, and Soper there. A couple of kicks there into George Hanna, and the referee spotted it well. Now Phillips. Soper. Back to Gary Phillips. Soper there slipping. Certainly we've had a lot of rain here in Sydney this week. Still slippery underfoot in places on this pitch. Now Raskopoulos. Patikas. Jennings. Jennings with some space ahead. Still Graham Jennings. Over the keeper. And headed to safety. But a let off there for Melbourne, Croatia. Good cross this from Graham Jennings. Blasby here in all sorts of problems, and George Hanna there to the rescue. And he concedes this corner. And now Tommy Cumming. Stopped there by Patikas. This is Keith Adams. So Gary Phillips with the long throw. Pushing there by Tony Dacos. Keith Adams. Hanna. Jennings. Zalovic all the way back there to Keith Adams. And the clearance charged down by Mark Kousas. Inside to Soper. And Soper brought down and a penalty given. Well, Marshall Soper, I'm sure, was playing for that penalty. No wonder he's smiling, because he'd missed his chance. Kousas slides that one in. And Soper here tries to walk it in the net. He's going away from goal. He's brought down clearly. But really, that is a rescue, because the chance had gone. But now the chance returns, and Olympic get the penalty to be taken by Peter Raskopoulos. Raskopoulos, and he saved it. Peter Blasby, the hero for Melbourne, Croatia. And Peter Raskopoulos misses from the penalty spot. And there's the hero for Melbourne, Croatia. Still chewing away nonchalantly. That's Peter Blasby. So there was the chance for Sydney Olympic to pull one back. Not the best of taken penalties by Peter Raskopoulos. Blasby guesses the right way, and a fine save there by the keeper. So Keith Adams, Melbourne Croatia skipper, he'll be happy with his team's performance in the first 45 minutes. A player who has been outstanding is Tommy Cummings. Tsikas. Now Raskopoulos. Keith Adams there again. And his father is Peter Katholis. And Kousas just failing to keep that one in. So we've now played 90 seconds of stoppage time at the end of the first half. And this is George Hanna. Forward to Campbell. Short pardon, and again back to keeper Peter Blasby. Now Keith Adams. Corchio, as the half-time whistle goes, The half-time scoreline here at Pratton Park. Sydney Olympic 0, Melbourne, Croatia 2. So Melbourne, Croatia get this second half underway, now kicking from left to right. Remember, Melbourne, Croatia, the red shirts, the white shorts, they lead by 2-0. Now Corcio. Keith Adams thrusting that one in forward. Cody there having quite a struggle with Dave Brogan. And Olympic get the free kick. Keith Adams. And still Keith Adams. He had a good captain's role this afternoon, Keith Adams. That's a good ball forward, away there by Martin Rogers. And now this is Steve Gojevic. Campbell. A good ball in. This is Brogan. Antelovic. And it took a ricochet. And Gary Meyer stops it going for the corner. But a good move that from Melbourne, Croatia. Campbell again. So a throw on that far side to Sydney Olympic. Less now than 20 minutes left. Certainly Sydney Olympic feeling the pinch with only 10 men on the park. Remembering, of course, Marshall Soper was sent off 39 minutes into the first half. It really has been a struggle up to now. Blasby in all sorts of trouble. Not favouring the keeper there. A mix-up between Blasby and Keith Adams. Now Catholis. Still Catholis. And Mike Cody. Olympic now starting to push everybody forward. Desperation times for them. This is Keith Adams. Gojevic. Keith Adams again. Stopped there by Gary Phillips. Now Patikas. Patikas there brought down by George Hanna. And a yellow card there for George Hanna. There's the challenge. Well, it's late. There can be really no argument about that yellow card. The third yellow card of the afternoon. So for George Hanna, quite an eventful afternoon. Scored after 11 minutes. And now gets the yellow card. Jimmy Patikas back on his feet. And trots into the 18-yard box. Peter Oskopoulos is the player to take this free kick. Dacos has gone forward, so's Mike Cody. Oskopoulos floats that one in, and just over the bar. Now Corcio. This is Tommy Cumming. Now Brogan. Antelovic. This is Gojevic. Still Gojevic. Now Corcio. Brogan. Dave Brogan. Well, he deserves that goal. He's done a lot of unselfish running this afternoon. Dave Brogan scores his second goal of the season. A good cross this though from Tony Corcio. Sydney Olympic were in trouble. Brogan gets the touch. In fact, it then takes a ricochet off the Olympic defender and out of the way of the outstretched arms of Gary Meyer. And there's the scoreline after 28 minutes of the second half. Sydney Olympic 0, Melbourne, Croatia 3. Now Tommy Cumming. To Skitch. Antelovic. Tussle going on there. Mark Kousas comes away with the ball and then tries to set Graham Jennings on his way. And Keith Adam, a dangerous back pass. Patikas. Couldn't screw it back enough. The angle was the thing that beat him. There's some quick thinking there by Jimmy Patikas. Keith Allen, the skipper of Melbourne, Croatia, makes the initial mistake. Turns it away from Graham Jennings, back to his keeper. Patikas there sees the possibilities and is in like grease lightning. But the angle there beats him and away for a goal kick. Now Brogan missing that. This is Cody. Still Brogan. This is Campbell. Antelovic. Corchio. Gojevic. Just come in. He's won a throw in, that's what he was trying to do. Quite a personality player, Tommy Cummin. Skitch. Corchio. Come in. Still Tommy coming. He's got Gojevic available. Still coming. Still keeping going. Gojevic! And just wide there from Steve Gojevic. Well, that all started with some determined running from this little fella, Tommy Cumming. Nothing was going to stop him. Somehow he got past Martin Rogers. He just bounced up there. Then past Raskopoulos. Then Gojevic comes in. And that was so close from Steve Gojevic. Now coming again. Looking for Gojevic. A bit too firmly hit that time. Raskopoulos. Kousas and Keith Adams clashing on the far side. Free kick goes to Sydney Olympic. Now Gary Phillips. Dacos now moved up to the centre forward position. There's Dacos beaten there by Sean Parton. Now Campbell. And now Brogan. Good run through there by Antelovic. Away from Raskopoulos, still Antelovic. This is Biskic. Turn in. Come in! And wide there from Tommy Cumming. He knows he should have done better. He applauds the ball across. It really was a good ball in. Jones' Biskic here. Turns. Chips that one across. Falls nicely for Cummins. Volleys it, but volleys it wide. Now come in. Gojevic. Gojevic battling away there. And the throw goes to Olympic. Quickly taken, and now Catholis on his way. Patikas is forward, so's Kousas, and so's Dacos. Still Catholis. Trying to pick out Patikas. Now Raskopoulos. Chipping that one over the defence, one for Catholis to chase. Blasby gets it, then drops it. Rescued there by Corchio. Still Corchio forward. Now Raskopoulos. Cody. Campbell in there first for Melbourne, Croatia. Now Gojevic. Brogan. Well, Dave Brogan won't come much closer than that. He really did take that so casually. A good break this, though, from Steve Gojevic. Unselfishly pushes it forward for Dave Brogan. He just turns so casually. Really gives that some hammer and into the side netting. So now watch now, just 8 minutes left. So Olympic Olympic trying to pull back a consolation goal. Tikas. But it really has been a struggle all afternoon for Sydney Olympic. Of course, that struggle's been made a lot harder since the dismissal of Marshall Soper in the first half. 4 marks to the Olympic players. They've really run themselves into the ground this afternoon. Now George Hanna. Good through ball, picking up Jimmy Campbell. Now Gojevic. Campbell. Campbell. Trying to pick up Keith Adam there, away by Graham Jennings. Now this is Biskic. Now come in. They're queuing up at the far post. Gary Meyer. Brilliant goalkeeping there from Gary Meyer. Melbourne Croatia players there were queuing up. Ball came wide. There was a lot of options open for Tommy Cumming. While at the other end now, Catholis has pulled one back. Well, from one end to the other, and Peter Catholis keeps up this incredible scoring record. He's pulled one back. There's Peter Catholis giving Vlasby no chance. And 39 minutes into the second half, there's the scoreline. Sydney Olympic 1, Melbourne Croatia 3. So Antelovic, as we're now playing stoppage time, a good performance this from Melbourne Croatia. They took the lead after 6 minutes from Steve Gojevic. They increased that lead to 2-0 5 minutes later. George Hanna scored. And then Olympic missed a penalty. Marshall Soper was dismissed. The half-time scoreline was 2-0 in favour of Melbourne Croatia. They've gone on with the job in the second half. 27 minutes into the second half, Dave Brogan put them 3-0 ahead before Peter Catholis pulled one back in the 39th minute to give Olympic some ray of hope, bringing the scoreline back to 3-1. Certainly a good workmanlike performance from Melbourne Croatia. This is Corcio as the final whistle goes. It's a win that's greeted well by the Croatia supporters here in Sydney. Disappointment though for Sydney Olympic. The final scoreline here at Prutton Park. Sydney Olympic 1, Melbourne Croatia 3.